joining us to learn more about our advanced and research-oriented Masters and PhD programs here at the University of Auckland Business School. My name is Maureen Benson-Ray, and I'm the Associate Dean for Postgraduate Research. Are you a degree holder looking to deepen your expertise, your employability, and research abilities? Our programs offer pathways for both academic and professional growth. You can pursue a PhD to become an expert in your chosen field, or take a Master of Commerce with a focus on applied research to embark on a professional career. Graduates of our PhD and Master of Commerce programs emerge as specialists, ready for roles that demand in-depth knowledge and make a tangible difference in the business world. When you study at New Zealand's #1 business school, you'll engage with today's leading business minds. Then you'll have the opportunity to deepen your expertise in a subject area you care about. You can choose from 3 pathways within our new revitalized Master of Commerce, depending on the type of project you'd like to undertake and your appetite for research. You can choose to work on a bigger supervised research project, a smaller research project with some extra courses, or a consulting project with a New Zealand organisation. If you're considering business consulting or other professional careers, our new applied research pathway in the 180-point MCOM enhances your research and consultancy skills to prepare you for those roles. As well as the new pathway options for you in our restructured and updated MCOM program, we also have exciting new courses such as Responsible Business, Economic Development and Wellbeing, Financial Machine Learning, and Information and Digital Economy. You'll cultivate critical thinking and problem-solving abilities to tackle complex challenges and thrive in a dynamic work landscape. You can become a specialist in an area of your choice: accounting, commercial law, economics, finance, GLMI, which is International Business, Innovation and Management, information systems, marketing, or operations and supply chain management. We've got you covered. The university and the business school award a number of scholarships for our MCOM students annually. Our doctoral scholarships offer opportunities for students to work on a funded research project supervised by our staff. We advise you to apply for a scholarship at the same time as your application for admission, and to check out the business school website for information on PhD scholarship-funded research projects. If you're considering an academic career, you'll need to have a BCom honours or equivalent, or a master's degree in a business subject to get into the program. If your master's is not in business, or you don't have research training or experience, we have bridging program options for you. So I caught up recently with 2 brilliant research students from the business school and my colleague, Associate Professor Fernando Beltran from the Department of Information Systems and Operations Management. We had a conversation about what it's like to undertake the PhD and research masters. Let's take a look. Joining me today are some current research students from the business school and my colleague, Associate Professor Fernando Beltran. Rachel, would you like to introduce yourself, please?
Thank you. My name is Rachel Ma. I'm studying a Master of Commerce in Economics.
Lahiru.
My name is Lahiru Gunasekara, PhD candidate in Operations and Supply Chain Management.
And Fernando.
Thank you. I am Fernando Beltran, Associate Professor of Information Technology at the Business School.
Rachel, can you tell us what drew you to the MCOM degree and about your background prior to this?
Thank you. So I joined in the university in 2019. I did a conjoint in Bachelor of Global Studies and a Bachelor of Commerce, where I majored in international relations and I studied German European studies. For my BCom side, I majored in economics. For my global studies research project, it's very similar to what I'm doing for my master's thesis. So my current research is built on that.
Fantastic, thanks Rachel. Lahiru, what drew you to the PhD program and what's your background prior to that?
I completed my undergraduates in Sri Lanka. After completing my undergrads, I went on to pursue my master's degree in China. After that, I wanted to pursue a PhD degree as well, and I followed 3 criteria, I would say. First one was the country, then the university, and finally the supervisor. So New Zealand, Auckland University, and my main supervisor, Professor David Robb, and Dr. Shubhamoy Ganguly, they all were a perfect fit for me to come to New Zealand for my studies. And the main reason for the PhD was that I always wanted to do a contribution in academia in terms of research, and I always preferred to pursue a career in academia.
Very good, thank you, that's great. So as you can see from these examples, our research-oriented programs enable you to build your career pathways and benefit you in a number of ways. First of all, they build on your earlier study and take you to an advanced specialization. And in that, you develop advanced specialized knowledge in your chosen field. You learn career-enhancing research skills, whether for practical industry employment or for further study. They prepare you for advanced qualifications, as is the case in the PhD. They can really broaden your career pathways, taking you into management situations, consulting, any business or government roles, NGOs, and into academic careers. Over to you, Fernando.
Thank you. Can you briefly describe what your research is about and how it impacts our communities, Rachel?
So I'm studying behavioral and experimentonomics with Professor Ananesh Chaudhary, and our research is focused on luck-based and merit-based inequality, which is very, very important to our society because we know that inequality relates to everyone in the country and in the world. And it's not only that income inequality, but also related to like educational side of the society. So it's over just a business content.
Lahiru.
I work in the emerging discipline of circular economy. In particular, I'm looking into used product take back. So what do you mean by that? We know organizations keep selling products as consumers, we buy them, and at the end of the day, we throw them away to landfill. So what I'm working on is how to get organizations to take back those used products in order to recycle them. So with the environment in interest, many organizations, not just in New Zealand, globally are engaging in this used product take back, but it's not easy due to the uncertainty of the returns coming back to them. So I'm developing some tools to help retailers to use them in order to make sure that their take back process is optimized, cost effective, and sustainable. So my research approach is practical, whereas I'm working with some of the organizations like one of the major retailers in New Zealand and also one of the global electronic equipment manufacturer in 2 of the projects. So what we call practice-based research. So I'm collaborating with them after identifying 2 of their problems that are research worthy. So I'm trying to solve a problem for them, and I'm trying to generalize it as a global solution where any retailer in the world could use, and also work on my PhD with that.
That's amazing. And what have been the highlights of your degree course so far?
Course-wise and academic-wise, I think we really have a lot of great workshops within the faculty as well as at the university as a whole, because I attended a few research-based workshops and they talk about how to do literature review, how to use our resource like the library to find the resource that you need. I personally find it very, very useful, especially for our research students, for master's students in particular, because if you just join the university as a research student, and very often we don't quite know how to find the resource, so that's why I find these workshops really, really useful.
That's great. Yeah. What about you, Lahiru?
I can mention maybe 2 of the key highlights. one of them is quite recent, where I actually participated in a research conference in Paris, like so that I could couple up with some academic meetings in the Europe region, and it was one of the major conferences in my field, POMS 2023. And one of the perks of being in academia, I must say, and business school always sponsor us, the PhD students, and encourage us to go participate in those kind of conferences. And the other one is, so when it comes to my PhD thesis, it's a collection of 3 papers, what we call thesis with publications or with papers. So it's not an easy journey to get a paper published. So I was able to get my first paper published in one of the major journals in the field. So those are two key highlights as a PhD student at the business school. And apart from that, I've been able to participate in some other competitions and case competitions and events of that nature to get some achievements.
That's great.
Wonderful. Tell us, how have you found working with your research supervisor?
Because I met Professor Ananech Chaudhary in 2021, so I became one of his students in his the course that he taught. And since then, he provided many insightful comments and knowledge throughout even my bachelor studies, and he helped a lot from other research projects of mine. And so now, what I think he impact me the most is not only the knowledge, but also the passionate and the compassion. It's so passionate, and the time management skills as well. It's just very, very useful, not only for my research project itself, but also for my whole study as a whole.
And how about your experience, Lahir?
Yeah, it has been wonderful. In summary, my I've worked the most with my main supervisor, Professor David Robb, and I was one lucky PhD student. Like, I was lucky to be picked up by him at the airport when I arrived in New Zealand, and even after that, he and I have had a family-like relationship. Like, I've been invited to his place many a time. I've got to know his entire family. But apart from that, when it comes to the PhD supervision itself, he's very caring, detailed, and he guides me all the time to come to my achievement. So and also I meet him every week, or the most every 2 weeks, and he has been a wonderful supervisor, and my second supervisor as well, very helpful to get my milestones achieved and to get my work done. And most important, especially I have had some down times with the COVID lockdowns. I think many of my colleagues as PhD students went through that, but my supervisors were really helpful, like emotionally as well, to pursue the PhD career.
So thank you for sharing such wonderful experiences. And now let me tell you from the staff perspective, from my own perspective, what this experience has been about. So as a supervisor, my work starts way before my students arrive in New Zealand. Most of the time they are international students. And I engage with them on the email, just back and forth, trying to find what is it that makes them tick and why they want to work with me. And finally, after a long process, usually when they finally arrive, we start a series of conversations, just like you've been having with your supervisors, regular meetings. But there's a very special ingredient in all this, is that when you come from abroad, I do it as my mission to actually try to bring the student into our environment, not just to deal with the student as one more student, but someone who's going to spend with me 3, 4, sometimes 5 years. And that is very important in my consideration. From that moment, a good relation has to be established with clear rules and clear activities and everything like that. But at the end of the day, it's human beings getting to know each other and having common passion for something they are going to work for a long time.
The university offers plenty of support for our research students, especially when it comes to, for example, research commercialization, through things like the university's Centre for Innovation and Entrepreneurship and other services. So perhaps I can ask the students, what other support services have you accessed as a research student here at the University of Auckland? Rachel first.
Okay, so I think based on my experience is I really enjoyed all of the academic workshops, and also like that within the Department of Economics we have regularly scheduled presentations. So we invite not only the students but also some faculty staff and some other professionals from outside the university, and we invite them to give presentation to share their experience and to share their studies as well. So that's what I really enjoyed based on my experience so far.
Yeah. Lahiru, what about you?
Yeah, well, as a PhD candidate, there are many services I've accessed. So one of them is the services provided by the library, because we can book an appointment with them whenever we want, especially to get some guidance towards how to look for literature. And there are many tools available, reference management tools and other software that university have subscribed to all the major software and tools that we can use free of charge as students. And the School of Graduate Studies organize a lot of workshops from, sometimes it may feel like a trivial topic, but for example, how to work with your supervisor, like starting from topics of that nature to more technical topics like how to do a literature review, how to get a publication done. So I've participated in more than 40 workshops so far, because I keep a record of all the workshops I've participated in. And also because I work with the industry, I've received the help of uni services to draft some collaboration agreements, because I'm working on some long-term projects. So apart from what I mentioned, like you name it, there is a support service that any student can get in the university.
That's fantastic, Lahiru. So what advice would you have for people who are thinking of pursuing a research-oriented program or a PhD here at the business school? What would your advice be, Rachel?
I think personally I have two advice. First is really use a use of a university website, because I think here at University of Auckland we have a very detailed designed website that literally contains everything that you need for the program, and details for the supervisors and potential topics, everything that you need, you can find it on the website. So do have a good look at that. And the second advice is, if you just thinking about doing it, maybe just reach out and start early. To reach out to your professors and reach out to your, like say the student advisors, to reach out to any staff, and they'll be happy to help.
Very good. And Lahiru, your advice, please.
Yes, so I mentioned about my criteria of PhD selection earlier. So when it comes to an international student, first you need to think about the country, second the university, so the country, quality of life and things like that. Where there's no doubt when it comes to New Zealand, then the university, University of Auckland, #1 ranked in New Zealand and globally within the top. But most important, the selection of your supervisor. As Fernando mentioned, it's a long-term relationship, like 3 to 5 years potentially. So how to do that? So one of the few things that could be done, like one thing is you need to look up about the discipline of your supervisor, what kind of publications they have done, what are their research interests, and whether that discipline fits with what I'm interested in. That's one major thing. But another key thing is talk to your supervisors, your potential supervisors, current and former PhD students, to decide whether the supervisor is a type of a person that you can fit with. Like, because personally I may have preferences to guide me in a micromanagement level, or sometimes some students prefer to be let alone to do your individual work on your own. So it's better to clarify the expectations at the beginning, like especially when you do the initial communications with your potential supervisor. So then after you start your PhD journey, it would be a wonderful journey altogether once you have set things cleared.
Such good advice. Thank you all very much indeed for sharing your experiences. Thank you so much for joining us to learn about our Master of Commerce and PhD programs. I hope you've gained insights into our programs and their suitability for your interests and career goals. To learn more, please contact us or visit the University of Auckland website.